And joining me now is Rob Parsons, our Chief Foreign Editor. Rob, given the military's history in Myanmar, is this coup a surprise?
Well, no surprise at all, Annette. We heard in that report just now, the military have been complaining ever since the elections, the beginning of November, about the outcome, in which they suffered a heavy defeat. The National League for Democracy, Aung San Suu Kyi's party, won a massive 80% of the vote in that election, and almost immediately the military started claiming foul, talking about electoral fraud, saying that as many as 8 million votes had been cast fraudulently. The Electoral Commission, for its part, said there may have been one or two problems with the electoral list, but by and large, there was nothing wrong with the election, that it was free and fair. And there are two things to say about this. I mean, first of all, if you've got a complaint with the election in Myanmar, then there are constitutional means to get something done about it. You go to the courts, as you do in the United States, for instance, as we've seen recently. And the second thing to bear in mind is that constitutionally, in Myanmar, the military still controls several of the key ministries, including what you might call the power ministries, like Interior Affairs, military, and so on and so forth. They are able to do pretty much what they like. So if the election really was fraudulent, it was fraudulent under pretty much their auspices. So, to cry foul really is stretching things too far. It's worth bearing in mind, too, the timing of this. This week, the parliament elected by those elections in November was to have its first session. Once that had gone underway, it would have been much more difficult for the coup d'etat to be launched. So I think the timing suggests that this was planned some way back.
So what happens next, Rob?
Well, this is obviously the big question. The military itself is talking about a one-year period in which it will try to stabilize things, though it's not at all clear what they mean by that. They say that there will be free and fair elections at the end of this one-year period. In the meantime, the leaders of the incoming government, including, of course, Aung San Suu Kyi, have been arrested. For her part, she is demanding or calling on her supporters to take to the streets and protest, given the fact that she has colossal moral authority and is immensely popular in Myanmar. One has to assume that large crowds are likely to take to the street. The question then is, what happens next? Are the military prepared to use force against a political leader and against a population which is so almost unanimously, 80% of the vote went her way in the election? Are they prepared to use force against such popular support? It'll be a real challenge for them, given the fact that Myanmar has plenty of other problems on its hands at the moment, including, not surprisingly, the coronavirus, but also interethnic tensions and poverty, and the fact that the country is awash with weapons. Does the military really want to be dragging the country into a sort of conflict like this, an internal conflict like this at this time? It seems almost extraordinary that the military is dragging Myanmar into this potential spiral down to the bottom at such a moment.
Rob Parsons, thanks for that.